Okay, we've been sent a case here to evaluate site number 30 and 31. Um, so let's take a closer look. Let's go ahead and start. In this case, I like to always start towards the mesial and move backwards. So let's go ahead and start with number 30. Go ahead and select it. I always like to do my implant planning in the implant align view. And so let's go from here. So let's take a look here. Let me go ahead and duplicate the plan. So I go to Plan, Duplicate Pan, put in here my name. And the reason I do this is so that we can have a comparison of what I'm planning compared to what was planned. So let's take a close look here. So in looking at this from a purely restorative perspective, the implant is planned extremely well. We can look right here that the implant is coming through the central groove or very close to the central groove, well-centered mesiodistally. The concern I have with this plan are two things. Let's address the first one first, and that is, in looking at this plan, I would say that our bone outline is roughly like so. Okay, so actually it's roughly like so. So in looking at this, we have a tremendous amount of space mesiodistally here, but our implant is quite a bit here closer to the lingual. Um, we can say that our cortical plate is maybe right here. I just don't like how much we have space right here on the buccal. That's good compared to how little space we have here on the lingual. So my preference in this particular case would be to move the implant over so I get it more into the medullary bone. We can still see that the bone is right here, so I'm fine here. Now the issue in doing this is going to be that now we have moved from the center of the implant more towards the buccal. So in this case, we'll simply just tilt the implant back. And now we're back in the center of the implant here. And we have a little more space here. So that's one thing I would look at right here. The other way I would look at that, and to illustrate this point, I'm going to clip along the active slice, go right here, and let's take a look at it here. So there is the plan that I have made, okay, where I've moved the implant to the buccal and then tilted it a little bit to the lingual. And now we can see how it looks in alignment right here. Whereas what I would like to do is go back to the original plan, and we can kind of see that what we do know is that lower molar teeth are tipped to the lingual, but this implant is tipped a hair to the buccal in comparison to the plan that I have made here. So this is something that I would like us to be able to compare so that we can understand exactly how this is going to affect our overall plan and just get a good idea of where we want things to be. And so using that as a guideline, I might even say that this implant, number 31, is done extremely well. So let's compare my plan where we haven't changed 31. And we could technically even tilt it some more. So we could even tilt it like so and then bring it over like this. And would actually that would actually give us something a little bit more natural with the natural alignment of the teeth there. So, and the other thing I'll point out here is in our CEREC design, if you look at this, it looks like I'm more to the lingual here. And I did that on purpose. And because if we look at our CEREC design, and this is why I'm such a stickler about our CEREC designs being perfect, is if we were to look down this path, we can see that the buccal of this tooth is actually too wide. So I can't use this buccal lingual dimension as being accurate. I'm going to go based on the central groove of the adjacent teeth, and I'm going to subtract that area because we don't want that implant restoration to be that wide. And even on the lingual, to be quite honest, I would want that to be brought in just a little bit. But certainly on the lingual here, it's very nice. On the buccal here, it's definitely too far out. And to kind of give us an idea of what I'm talking about here, I will draw a line through the height of contours right there. And we can clearly see right here that on the buckle of number 30, we are too far to the buckle. 31 is designed very well. 30, excuse me, could be designed a little bit better. So the second concern I have on tooth number 30 here, and let me actually back up for a second. I believe that this could be tilted a hair, sorry, uh, maybe a hair more this way, but honestly that's not too bad. So we'll leave that alone. We'll say that is fine. So if we look at it here, okay, I want to stress this area right here. Look at how we're centered in the bone here compared to right there. You can definitely see the difference in this plan versus that plan. Okay. So now, the second area of concern I have is the nerve mapping. Now, the mapping looks extremely good. The issue I have is, there's we can't completely distinguish where the nerve is right here. Does it happen to go up right here, or is it right here? Okay, and when I go in my 360 view and kind of move around here, I'm left to believe that the nerve may actually be right in here. So, we can see that it's clearly right here, and then I might believe that the nerve is actually right there. Okay, so, when I see this, we have plenty of space here. So the question is, are we accurate in our nerve mapping? Does that matter? And with the nerve, absolutely it matters. So, I would take consideration into maybe thinking that my nerve may actually be, and if we look at it from this angle, my nerve may actually go somewhere up like so. So if that's the case, we still have enough space. So the only reason I bring this up is maybe we would consider going with a shorter implant. And again, a 10 millimeter implant is more than adequate, and we avoid the potential issue of the nerve right there. So, just food for thought. So we're going to go back to the 12 here, and there we go. So now we're ready to move on to number 31. And the first thing I'm already noticing on number 31 is that it's tilted away to the distal. I would believe that this is definitely needs to be parallel to number 30. So what I would do here is go over here to change implant, and on my orientation I would make it parallel to 30. And then now we can take a closer look. And when I mean parallel, I mean certainly in this direction, and the tilt buckle lingually. As we go farther back, the more and more the tilt is, the more and more it comes to the lingual. So, we'll have to take a look at that. So I like this better already in comparison to our previous. So to kind of give you an idea, there is what I planned, and there is the original plan. So we can definitely see that was more tilted to the distal. And then the last thing we need to look at on number 31 is where it's coming out in relation to the occlusal table. And right here we can see that since we had to reparallel it, that we're definitely on the buccal side of that tooth. So we need to either tilt it like so to bring it back in alignment, or we can bring it in like this. Now, how do we determine which one we want? My preference on this case, honestly, is going to be to tilt the implant, simply because I don't mind engaging the cortical bone right here, but I don't like how thin this area is here, so I prefer to have a little bit more bone. So I would probably just end up tilting it like so. We're going to make two simple screw retain restorations, so it's not going to matter in terms of double or button them in creating parallelism, and that little bit of degree is not that big of an issue. The nerve, again, is pretty well marked in this particular area, so I'm not overly concerned about that. We do have to pay mind to remember that our drill is approximately 1 millimeter longer So in some areas we're going to drill 1 millimeter longer. So we need to take a look at that. In looking at our bone level here, we're definitely just a hair subcrestal. We could stand to bring this up just a little bit, and that will also help us get away from the bone, the nerve there. And this one, I actually like this plan as it is. So hopefully this has been helpful, and I appreciate it. So in conclusion, a couple of things. Number 30, we definitely were too lingual on that plan. We needed to move it to the buckle and then tilt it back to the lingual. We can look at a CEREC design and see that it is definitely too wide buckle lingually. And then also our nerve mapping may be slightly incorrect right here. So thank you very much.